Okay, we need to talk about one of the weirdest, most common glitches in the human brain. I'm talking about a tiny little mystery that happens to pretty much all of us almost every single day. And today, we're going to solve it.
You know the feeling, right? You get up from the couch with a mission. You're heading to the kitchen for something specific. You walk through the doorway, and then, poof, it's just gone. You're standing there, looking around, with absolutely no clue what you were supposed to be doing.
If this happens to you, I promise you are not losing your mind. This is not a sign your memory is failing. It happens to literally everyone, and it's so common that scientists have actually given it a name. It's called the doorway effect. Yep, it's a real, documented psychological phenomenon. The simple act of passing through a doorway can basically hit the reset button on what you were just thinking about. But why? Why does this happen? Well, the science behind it is a concept called event boundary segmentation. Now, that sounds super technical, I know, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Your brain doesn't record your life like one long, continuous movie. Instead, it chops it up into little episodes or scenes. The easiest way to think about it is like a book. Your brain is creating chapters for your memories. Everything you're thinking and doing in the living room, that all gets filed away under the living room chapter.
So, what tells your brain it's time to end one chapter and start a new one? You guessed it, a doorway. When you walk from one room to another, your brain basically says, okay, scene change. That's the end of that chapter. Let's get ready for the next one.
And this is the crucial part. To get ready for the new chapter, say the kitchen, your brain does something called a working memory flush. It clears out the information from the last scene to free up space for whatever's coming next. So that thought, I need to grab the scissors, just gets wiped to make room for new kitchen-related information.
And we know this isn't just a theory, thanks to some really cool research from the University of Notre Dame. Scientists had people move objects from one spot to another, sometimes walking through a doorway, and sometimes just walking the same distance across one big room. The result was crystal clear. People were way more likely to forget what they were doing right after they crossed a threshold. It proved it's the doorway itself, that event boundary, that's causing the memory lapse.
So this brings up the big question, doesn't it? It just seems like a really bad design flaw. Why on earth would our brains be built with a system that makes us forget what we're doing? Well, it turns out it's not a glitch at all.
It's a feature. In fact, it's an incredibly powerful survival mechanism that's been part of our brain software for thousands and thousands of years. And to really get why, we have to think way, way back. Just imagine you're one of our ancient ancestors. When you're inside your safe cave, your brain is focused on cave stuff, right? Maybe you're sharpening a tool or figuring out how to store food. But the second you step out of that cave into the forest, everything changes. The priorities are completely different. Your brain needed a way to instantly dump the less important cave thoughts so you could be 100% focused on the new environment. Is that a predator in the bushes? Is that a source of food? Still thinking about how to sharpen that spear could literally get you killed. That mental reset was a life-saving feature. So, yeah, that moment of confusion when you walk into the kitchen is basically just a harmless side effect of a system that was originally designed to keep you from becoming a saber-toothed tiger's lunch. Your brain is just running its old, very effective survival software. Here's a more modern way to look at it. Think of your brain like a web browser. Each room you're in is a different tab. A doorway is like clicking the new tab button. And to make that new tab load fast and work efficiently, the browser sometimes puts the old, inactive tab to sleep. Your brain is just trying to be efficient. So the next time you find yourself standing in a room totally blank, just remember, your brain isn't broken. It's not failing you. It's actually operating with a kind of ruthless, ancient efficiency. Okay, so now we know why it happens. But what's the simple fix? What can you actually do when you're standing there confused? Well, the solution is actually beautifully simple. Just go back to the room where you had the original thought. By re-entering that first context, you're basically telling your brain, hey, reload that last chapter. Or to put it another way, you're reloading the previous save file. And 9 times out of 10, the memory will pop right back into your head.